Hi, I'm Surah. I'm an exchange student from the US to Denmark. So, I'm going to be talking to you today about expectations. Okay, so the most important thing going on exchange is to have no expectations or to have bad expectations. That way, if you have bad expectations and things go really well, you're really happy with how they're going. Because if you have really good expectations and they're not going so great, you're going to be disappointed and you're not going to have a good exchange. So first topic is expectations about your host family. Most people get along okay with their host families. If you only have one host family for the whole year, sometimes it's not the best because you have these expectations, like you think they're going to be like your family, or they're going to be the opposite of your family, or you're going to like love everybody, and sometimes that just doesn't happen. Like my first host family, like I'm with Rotary, so we have 3 families. I'm going to have 4 because of a situation with the first host family because I had too many expectations. I went in thinking they were going to be similar to my own family, which is very relaxed, very kind of like kick back. Because there's so many kids. I'm in a family of 7 kids, so I'm number 3 out of 7. 7, 8, 7. Anyway, so I thought they were going to be very much like my family. They weren't, and it caused issues. So, yeah. No expectations really, like expect them to be like awful and really mean and like you absolutely hate them. Don't let like that hinder like your attempt to like get to know them or like get along with them or whatever, because if you do that, it's going to be worse and it's going to suck and you're going to hate it. And like if you expect them to be like the best family in the world and they're not, you're going to want to go home and you're not going to have anyone to talk to or anything. So it's just really best to have like expect the worst almost, and then expect the worst, prepare for the best, really. That way like you're really happy and all those kind of things. So like 0 expectations or bad expectations, either work. Friends, you're going to meet a lot of people on exchange. A lot of exchange students hang out with other exchange students, and that's good. Okay, you going through the same things makes sense to like talk to people who know what you're going through. That way you have common topics. Okay. It's great to talk to exchange students, especially when you're struggling. Like they know what's going on and like they can help you make decisions and figure things out. But at the same time, like you need to meet people who are like in the country you're in. So like I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Danish friends that are really good friends. I'll probably keep talking to even when I go back home, because I try to involve myself in the community. But the main thing is if you don't learn the language, you're not going to be able to connect with the people. So don't expect to like connect people with people unless you're really applying yourself to the language. And even then, it's going to take a couple of months, at least 3, if not 4, maybe 5. I'm on my 6th month and I'm still trying to figure out this language that is Danish because it is really confusing and has no rules. But there are harder languages, and those who may be going to Finland, if you're going to Finland, good luck, sweetie, because yeah, I tried Finnish, it's not fun. Don't expect it to come super fast, and they're going to be interested in you because you're an exchange student, and it's like, oh, that's really cool. But it's going to calm down after like maybe maximum 3 weeks, because at that point they'll have like, oh, had a couple conversations with you, and it's like, oh, you're just another person now. But yeah. And then language expectations. I've kind of touched on this already, but it's really important because you may start learning the language before, and unless you know it really fluently, it's going to be like very difficult. And so like if you're going to a Spanish-speaking country and you've maybe taken Spanish for a couple of years already in school or something, it's totally different. Especially like, and there's totally different types of Spanish too. Like I live in South Texas, so like I know Mexican Spanish, or I even know it's kind of like Tex-Mex, because it's not, I mean, like, yeah, I could probably use it in, like, Mexico or something and get by. But it's not, like, Mexican Spanish. And then there's Argentine Spanish. And there's Spanish from Spain. And all, like, different types of Spanish for, like, every different Spanish-speaking country. And even in different parts of that country, there's different types of Spanish. And so you can never, like, in school Spanish is, like, probably the worst thing ever. Any school subject that is taught is not going to be close enough to the language you're learning. So like Danish wasn't even offered in school systems because it's this tiny country that no one knows how to speak Danish and whatever. It wasn't even taught. but I did some online stuff, and it's like totally different than like what I was expecting, and it's much harder, and it's very difficult language. But you're going to experience that, and it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be hard, and don't expect it to be easy. Expect it to be very hard, and then you'll have a dream in whatever language it is, and you'll be okay. But that'll happen like month 4 or 5 sometimes. Depends on each person. Whatever. My first dream in Danish was about my family. My 2 host families were at war, and they were yelling at each other in Danish. And I was just kind of standing in the middle. It was really weird. But hey, it was in Danish, so it was really cool for me. I'll probably remember it for the rest of my life. Whatever. Okay. But yeah, so language will be hard. Yeah. The weather, unless you're going to a country that's very similar to yours, or where you are at in your country, expect the weather to be very different, and clothes you'll change your clothes a lot, like your style. Like I used to wear a lot of really bright colors, like neon colors, and because I worked out a lot, so it was just really easy. And so expect your closets to change. Even guys, like your closets will change. Then you'll go back and your closets will change again. But yeah, so I wear a lot of gray now. It's kind of depressing, but hey, everyone does it. I don't know the rules of like the other programs, but like I know in Rotary we have something called the 4Ds, which is really 7Ds, because yeah, there's like 3 unwritten ones. So the 4 written ones are no drinking, no driving, no dating, no drugs. But then the other 3 that are there is no decorating, so like no piercings or tattoos, which is kind of like, come on. And then no illegal downloading, that's really obvious too. And then I always forget the last one, but I think it was like no clubs, which is like no discos or whatever is what they used to call it. So yeah, those are the rules. Okay, generally they're pretty relaxed, unless you're in the US. They're pretty relaxed about the no drinking thing, because most other countries are able to drink at 18, and like in Denmark, I'm allowed to drink at like 16. I think there's some other countries where you're technically allowed to have like beer or something at like 16. Yeah, so there's that, but depending on who you're with, like with Rotary, I'm allowed to have like a beer at dinner or something. I like water more because I've grown up drinking water, and that's just kind of, I like water more, or soda. Yeah, and everything, soda will taste different because it's in a different country, it's from different places, they do different carbonation levels, whatever. Everything will be different. Candy tastes different. Like, I used to absolutely love Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. I hate them here. Like, I will not eat them here at all. And, yeah, so you just expect everything to change. And don't expect to be easy going back home as well, because you'll have changed a lot as a person, matured. You've experienced things that no one else has experienced. They won't know how to relate to it, all those other things. So, like, you never know what's going to happen with that. And, so your expectations need to be really low for, like, the exchange. Like, yeah, it's going to be a great year, but only if you apply yourself, learn the language, and have no expectations going in. Because if you have expectations, like I said, you're most likely going to be disappointed. And that's it for today's video, and I'll be back next week with another topic. I don't know what it is yet, but